That was another big success at that time. I cannot forget my memories interacting with the Chinese ambassador in WTO when I was posted there, particularly negotiating the Doha development round at that time and the support I have received from the Chinese colleagues, which is really, really extraordinary. My feelings for the China-Bangladesh relationship goes back also to the numerous occasions when I have had the privilege of addressing the students of the Beijing Agriculture University and Beijing University, even during the COVID days through the internet and webinars. So it's quite an interesting occasion for me over here today, this morning. I'm so happy to see you all. So the issue is about the prospect of Bangladesh-China relationship. The word prospect is a tricky one. How does one distinguish the word prospect from prognosis and possibilities? The issue is whether there are many possibilities in life, and in order to do a prognosis, what exactly is going to happen is we need to see how we really realize the opportunities and deal with the challenges in order to ensure a prospect which is mutually beneficial, not only for us, for the region, and for the rest of the world. It has been mentioned at the very beginning that the Bangladesh-China relationship is multifaceted, multi-tiered, multidimensional, and that's the benchmark. Whenever you do a judgment about the prospect, it's very important to understand the benchmark. Where do we stand? We stand, of course, China remains one of the single largest provider of financial support to Bangladesh. Last year, 2023, for which we have the latest data, shows we received $4 billion, almost $4 billion in financial support. China, as you may know, remains the driver of global economy at this moment. At least 30% of the global growth is attributable to China. We make the joke that if China catches cold, then the whole world sneezes. That is the economic situation what we have now. So we are talking about a country which has generated $600 billion of trade surplus. We are talking about a country which has 3,000 billion of foreign exchange reserve. We are talking about a country where the per capita income is rising faster than many other countries in the world and creating a market for exportable goods from developing countries. So this is where we are dealing with, and this is where we are standing at this moment. So how do you really look into the future that we make best out of these two relationships? One, a growing, developing economy, and another one, which is already a member of the UN Security Council and remains a major actor, not only global economy, but also politically. So Bangladesh-China relationship, as we look forward, let me highlight a couple of issues and move out from here. Any good relationship has always its challenges. My predecessor has just mentioned, it doesn't matter how do you make the cake as long as it becomes bigger. My grandmother told me, it also depends how you make the cake because it decides on what type of taste and how long it is going to sustain. So for us, it is also important how we achieve the maximum possibilities of this potential relationship. Let us just see the trade relationship which we have. We are, as I mentioned over here, that almost a quarter of our imports are coming from China, but the trade deficit is increasing. Trade deficit is increasing at a faster rate than the volume of the trade itself. China has been generous in order by providing us first the 97% of DFQF, duty-free, quota-free market access. Now it has gone to 100%. But we know by now, in the world, trade does not depend on only market access based on tariffs and other regulatory, on other forms of financial consideration. It also depends on the process through which it happens. It also depends on the non-trade barriers which are there. So I think if you look at the future of Bangladesh exports to China, then it is not tariff. It is the non-tariff barriers which we need to look at. We need to look at the lengthy processes quite often it takes for dispute settlement. Those are the areas we will have to really put our efforts over there. As I mentioned, almost 9% to 10% of the financial flows are coming from China annually. If you look at the debt situation of Bangladesh at this moment, almost $6 billion are owed to China, $5.6 billion. It is almost 10% of the total debt now Bangladesh has overseas. So the debt repayment is becoming an increasing challenge for Bangladesh. And if you look at the Chinese loans which have come in, some of them have come as supplier's credit. And if you see the shorter repayment period, shorter grace period, and higher commitment charges than others, you will immediately find out there are opportunities for streamlining them in the future. So Chinese loan and Chinese debt in Bangladesh definitely demands a bit more closer look and see how we can really make them more compatible with the upcoming developmental requirements of this country in the future.
Dengue, the Chinese sides did all it can to assist. The embassy staff visited the affected areas to convey sympathies, and China is ready to provide rescue facilities and equipment worth over $3 million to Bangladesh, including inflatable lifeboats, portable power generators, drinking water purifiers to help Bangladesh. Since the establishment of the interim government, the Chinese enterprises has invested more than $85 billion. And I want to say, just 2 days after the formation of interim government, one of China donate more than $1 million in IMG sectors, which is the first ever foreign investment since the formation of an interim government. China has decided to provide around $150 million grants aid to Bangladesh for livelihood projects agreed by both sides. From 1st December 2024, this year, China will unilaterally open its market and decides to grant zero tariff treatment on 100% of taxable items to Bangladesh, which means China will substantially increase import of cereals, sugar, edible oil, rubber and rubber products, wood products, jute and jute products, pepper and pepper products, wool and cotton from Bangladesh, before Bangladesh graduates from LDCs. China will also import Bangladesh fresh mango. Actually, we already complete all the procedures, but quite unfortunately now the mango season is over. So expect there will be import of fresh mango, which is the best in the world, to export to China starting from next year, which consider is a great boost for mango industry and mango farmers in Bangladesh. So China will also carry out our pragmatic cooperation in solar power, agriculture, green and low carbon development with Bangladesh. These pragmatic measures shows the firmer support of the Chinese government to the interim government and will greatly help Bangladesh in its economic and social development and bring tangible benefits to the people. But also I'm very grateful just now the Professor Daprier mentioned his suggestions how to enhance our cooperation. But one thing I want to commit, that so far, all the G2G governments, the projects which under the preferential loan by Chinese government is agreed upon by both sides. So we consider it's a mutual cooperation. China never imposed any conditions on any country, including Bangladesh. So any request from Bangladesh, we can sit down to talk. It is a consensus building process. But I also want to stress that I'm convinced that so far, China projects are most efficient and contract with shortest time. Even though during the COVID-19 period, only Chinese companies are committed, are staying in Bangladesh to continue to build our projects. And then one more fact is, even during the last July, August, when there is the height of the movement, in ICT sectors, all the other foreign companies, their management, their laborers, all left. Only Chinese companies, Huawei, ZTE, they are stay put, they are here. So during their time, all the communication service provided in Bangladesh are from Chinese companies. So that is another testimony how we are together with people of Bangladesh. So I'm convinced that with the new interim government, we are still confronted with enormous opportunities with bright future for our further cooperation. And we're all aware that, and also, what I also want to add is, for the surplus China enjoying in our bilateral trade, but there's one commitment for me.